Hi, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hope you've had a fantastic day. Today is the 15th of February 2025, and it's good to have you here. How has your day been? I hope you've had a beautiful day. All right, so let's go right away. How are you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. From whichever side of the world you are. My name is Dorcas. Hi, IDK. Hi. Thank you for joining me. Good evening. Hope you had a nice Valentine yesterday. How is your family? How are your friends? I trust all is well with you. All right. Last week we had discussed about... Hi, Gami. All right, so last week we had talked about silence, and I had told us to go and practice silence on certain issues. How did it go? Was there anything that you had to, keep silent about? You can drop in the comment section just for feedback. Let's know that we're able to practice what we talked about last week. We had said you should make sure that you practice what we talked about on silence, and we had said that you should not throw stones or bark at every single dog. That on some issues we're going to zip it and we're not going to say anything. We're going to keep quiet, because in keeping quiet our reputation is maintained. We had said in keeping quiet that even a fish, when it has its mouth closed, it does not get into trouble. And I had said that was something I learned from my school library, because it was placed on the wall, so each time you enter the library, you're going to see that tells you that you should keep quiet, that you're in the library, and you should always not make noise, right? So it's good to know that. So basically this is like a recap, and the same last week we had said that even the Bible encourages us to keep quiet, especially when we are before God. And we had said that culturally, depending on where you're from, where you are in front of people that you respect, you don't make as much noise, and then personally, I am from Nigeria, and in Nigeria it is believed that people you respect, you do not make so much noise before them. Just like you go in front of a king, go in front of a president, you don't start making noise, true, nah, right? So most of the time, you keep quiet, because that person is important to you, and you are eager to hear what the person has to say to you. So you don't make so much noise. So basically, that's what we're talking about. So it's good to have you here. We talked about silence, and today we will still continue about silence, because you know what, there are so many benefits, and today we'll be discussing about the benefits of silence. Now remember, we talked about awkward silence, and we said that silence should not all be awkward, because silence can be beautiful. Silence can be wonderful. And I had said that just because we talked about silence does not mean that when bad or evil things are happening, you should not speak up. No. When the wrong thing is happening, please do speak up. It is very, very important. And when the wrong things are happening, we shouldn't keep quiet. Look for the correct authorities handling that issue and let them handle it. Okay? So, once again, thank you for joining me, and this was just a recap of what we did last week. Now we are about to go into what we're doing today, and that's about the importance and the benefits basically of keeping quiet. So it sounds quite spiritual when I say keeping quiet, or it's not spiritual, like it's just something that you're supposed to do on a normal day, that your mouth is not just moving at every single time. No, you shouldn't always have to talk. All right, sometimes it looks like you're foolish, sometimes it looks like you don't know what you're doing, but you absolutely do. Because once you open your mouth, it's just a well of wisdom that is just going to be flowing out of you. But just because you kept quiet didn't mean you were a fool or you were stupid. No, that's not what it meant, right? So thank you. Hi, Clubbers Gaming. Hi, and welcome everybody. So I was just giving a recap of what we talked about last week. We talked about silence, and we had said several things about silence. We even said it was good when you are having a conversation or when you are giving a speech. Sometimes when you make an important point, that you just keep quiet and let it sink in. And then we had said that people who are shy use the power of silence. And silence is so powerful. Now, we're not talking about silent treatment for your friends. We are talking about using silence as something of great importance. Okay? All right. So today, what is the benefit? Because we have talked about so much about silence now. What do you stand to gain if you decide to say, you know what, there's so much noise all over the place and I want to just have some quiet. I just want to have some quiet time. Now, when you hear quiet time, it's not, especially if you're a Christian, they're not just telling you to go and read your Bible. Sometimes quiet time is for you to just listen to yourself. It's for you to listen to your heart. Okay, so a lot of the times you hear quiet time. Quiet time is not just telling you, oh, you should, go and pray. Sometimes just sit quietly. That's when certain things you heard during the day or somebody has said like an hour ago would just like literally flash back before you. Do you understand? So basically that's about it. So what do you stand to gain when you decide to say, you know what, I'll have some quiet time, I'll just have some little silence? Okay, what are your benefits? That is what we are discussing today. Now, the first thing is that it reduces stress. And let me tell you guys, whether you believe it or you do not believe it, some of these things I'm telling you from what I have practiced, I have seen that sometimes this whole noise everywhere doesn't help you. So once in a while, I just keep quiet. And you know what? It just saves me my energy. Like, it's like a downtime I just have for like 5 minutes, and there's just some refreshing that happens. And if I was already stressed and tired, just by some 5-10 minutes that I took to rest, it truly reduces your stress level. It truly brings down your stress level. Now, I am currently in Nigeria. I don't know which part of the world you are watching me from, but I just want you to know that wherever you are, there could be some level of stress, okay? And one of the ways you can help yourself, aside exercising and trying to eat well, one of the ways you can help yourself is by taking some quiet time. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes, depending on how much time you have on your schedule. See, it's going to do a lot of good. Your stress level is just going to go down. Wow, like it's just going to drop. I kid you not. Try it and you come back and tell me about it. Okay? Now, the next thing is that silence helps you with mindfulness. And when we talk about mindfulness, we're talking about being in the moment. You know how like you go for a party or you go for an event, you are busy gisting all over the place. You're not getting the main gist of why you are in that place. See guys, when you keep quiet and say, you know what, I'm here for this event, I want to listen and know what's even happening, you will now begin to enjoy the event. You now begin to say, oh, so this is what they were even saying, and I'm making noise all over the Please, do you understand? So this is a call to say, try keeping quiet when you go for events. Just 5-10 minutes, you get a hang of what's happening. Even if you arrive there late for 1 or 2 reasons, which a lot of times happens, that's not a problem, because it happens all the time. For 1 or 2 reasons, maybe traffic or something, and you were not able to make it, that's fine. But once you arrive there, just take some time to be quiet. I promise you, you're going to have a hang of what's happening in that place. Okay? Now, the next thing is that it improves your mental clarity. You know how sometimes your brain is like there's some brain fog happening there. Everything is not clear. Like everything is scattered. Like some words are sparking. Like some things are not just happening the right way they should be happening. Let me tell you, take out some time and say, you know what? I will just be quiet. Clarity will begin to come in, because you know why? You are now going to have better concentration. And because you have better concentration, you can now think better and make better decisions on whatever is happening. Okay? So what you're doing at that point for your brain is that you're actually giving your brain some time to go on a vacation. It's like, you know what, your brain has wanted that break for such a long time, like it's so overdue. But because of a lot of things happening, you've not been able to give your brain that rest. Once you rest, you see that those things that were confusing you, those things that you didn't even know what to make of them, like what particular decisions you should make, once you take that quiet time and some few minutes of silence to just, sit down quietly, think about the whole thing, trust me, you are going to be just fine. You would find solutions. You know what to do. Okay, so hi everybody. This is almost 12 minutes, and thank you for joining me. My name is Dorcas, and it's good to have you. I can see comments. Hi, Clavers Gaming. My day was fine. I hope your day was good as well. Oh, Azaruddin Media. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. And we're still talking about the benefits of keeping quiet and having some quiet time. That's what we're talking about today. Now, we're saying that being quiet, actually, that's the next advantage. It helps with your creativity. Personally, I see that when I want to do something creative and there's so much noise around me, I feel like I'm distracted. I'm not able to get what I want to get. But if I'm quiet and I begin to design whatever I'm designing, give me the next 5-10 minutes, the ideas will drop. But when there's so much noise, I'm not able to concentrate. I don't know if it happens to you. If it happens to you, please drop in the comment section so that I know I'm not alone. But truly, when there's a lot of noise, it reduces my level of creativity. So one of the advantages of just having some quiet time is that it heightens your creativity level. So if you're a media person or you're into creative, you're one of the creatives, it might be the same for you, because I know a lot of creatives, they work in the night. Most of their ideas come in the night. Like a lot of the things they do is in the night. They write their scripts in the night, they act their movies in the night, like just a lot happens at night. They write their stories at night, they write their books at night. It's like there's just some spark of creativity that happens as your mind is wandering. You're just quiet, before you know it, boom, you've created something. Okay, now the next thing is that moment of silence or quietness helps you with emotional regulation. So have you been at a point where somebody has just said something really nasty and you just want to say something nasty as well, but there was some self-restraint and you just say, you know what, let me zip it, let me be quiet. Now what that does for you is that in that process of being quiet, you are able to look at the situation, maintain your emotions, control it, and be in check of yourself, not allowing the situation at that moment to take charge of your mind. That you are in control of your mind. You are not angry. You are thinking straight. Your brain is not hazy and foggy. Do you understand? So that's what I'm talking about. Like when somebody has just said something really nasty, something that really got to you, something that really upset you, and you really want to answer back, and you just calm all the way down. Now that calming down helps you. That's some quietness, that's some self-restraint. It now helps you know how to give the right answer to the person so that you don't give the wrong answer. Because the Bible that I read tells me that a soft answer turns away wrath. So imagine you come to me, I say something really nasty, you insult me. The first thing I would want to do is to insult you back. But imagine that I keep quiet. And maybe you were expecting that I give you some insults as well, and I'm calm. The truth is that I would have weakened you. You may not be able to insult as much as you would have wanted to because of my response. And that's because I've been able to be quiet. Okay? All right. So if you're still with me, say hi in the comment section. Now, the next thing is that it increases your self-awareness. Like, having to be quiet just helps you think about yourself. All right, can you hear me? So I was saying that self-awareness happens a lot in that quiet space when you are talking to yourself and, doing a search all by yourself. There's some level of self-awareness that happens, and in the end you are able to glean some insights about yourself and about the world around you. Now, the next thing helps you to improve your learning. So I read about a research that says that excessive noise actually hinders learning. So imagine that you want to study for an exam and where that place you are is so noisy. Or you're trying to teach your child or your friend something, and you guys are in an environment that is very noisy. I promise you, it's going to be very difficult for the person to focus and get the point or the gist of what you're saying. So it's really, really important that you take out some time and just be quiet when you're trying to learn, because that will heighten your level of knowledge, and it will also heighten your level of retention. Yes, your retention level is also going to be heightened. So it's your advantage that you do what? You keep quiet. All right. Now, the next thing is that there's improved concentration. There is improved concentration. Now, imagine that you, for example, let's say you want to memorize something. For a lot of people, it's very difficult to memorize something when there's a lot of noise. But imagine that you're in your room, there's no so much noise. I promise you, in the next 5-10 minutes, you would have memorized that thing. So there's no distraction. You are good to go. It's so easy. It's so easy. Okay? So take your time to go through your schedule each day and tell yourself that I will make sure that within my day, I actually do make out time to be quiet. Some quiet time. Okay? Because that will help you with your concentration. And let me tell you, you need that concentration. If you're a family person, you have children, you work, or you're into business, you are constantly trying to organize things or getting people to organize them for you and all of that. So at the end of the day, you really, really should try to have some quiet. Okay? Now, the next thing is that it improves your sleep. Who does not want to sleep well? Well, personally, I have seen that when I sleep well, the way I think is sharp. My thoughts are sharp. I think straight. My brain is not hazy and foggy, and my thoughts are not all over the place. Why? Because I slept well. So, like few minutes before you go to bed, what my friend does is that hour before she goes to bed, she tries to tone down on activities, even her phone. she decides to keep it aside an hour before bed. For her, that is how she gets her silence. And once her phone is away, she begins to, go through her day mentally to see what has happened, all through her day, and how she can plan for the next day. Okay, so are you still with me? Let me know in the comment section. Are you still with me? Are you getting some value? If you are, please drop it in the comment section. So guys, see to it that you do your best to have some quiet time, because it will reduce the noise in your head when it's time for you to sleep, because you don't want all that noise, so you can have a sound sleep and sleep like a baby. All right, you need to sleep like a baby. The next is that it helps you, being quiet and having some quiet time would help you to cultivate patience. Patience is a very, very expensive commodity for a lot of people, because we want things happening at the speed of light, like really, really fast. So if you have to wait, it can be very difficult, guys. It can be very hard. It can be very, very difficult to wait. But what silence does is for you that when you are quiet, sometimes begin to ask yourself some relevant questions. Why am I actually waiting? How has it been waiting? Like, you talk to yourself. You have an official meeting basically with yourself. And that I do that a lot of times. Like, I call myself for a meeting and I'm like, okay, let's talk about this thing. Maybe this market you want to go to. Okay, what's the plan? When do you want to go? What do you need to buy? What can you substitute for this if you don't see it? So I plan my day somehow in my head. Somehow I write them down. Some I put as reminders on my phone, because these days I forget a lot. So I write out a lot of those things. And as I'm doing that, I am learning patience. As I'm doing that, I am learning, to just face the challenges that may come. Do you understand? So it helps me with my planning, basically, as I keep quiet and plan, my day. So that quietness helps me. So first of all, I do the mental silence, where I shut down all the noise in my head so I can hear myself properly. Okay? Now, how can you create time for silence? How? Is it possible that you can create time for some quiet? Can create time for silence? Is it possible? Yes, the answer is yes, it is possible. If you're with me, let me see your answer in the comment section. Is it possible for you to create some time to be quiet, like some quiet time, like 5 to 10 minutes? Is it possible? Let me know. Do you think it's possible? Drop it in the comment section. Is it possible? For me, I say yes, it's possible. But let me hear from you guys. Personally, it's possible because I do try to schedule stuff. Okay? I try to schedule stuff. Now, the first thing in wanting to find or create a silence time or create a quiet time is that you plan for it. That's the first step. You plan. So you know that maybe you wake up at 4:30 a.m., and the rest of the family wakes up at 5. So you have some 30 minutes to just be quiet, to just plan, what you have to do for the day and move on before they all wake up at 5. So it's a matter of planning. So for example, everybody wakes up at 6 o'clock at the same time. You are not going to have some time to be quiet. No, you will not. Because everybody is waking up at the same time. Everybody's trying to take a bath and leave the house, either for a meeting or for school or for whatever. You won't have the time to be quiet. I assure you. You won't, okay? Now, the next thing is that you create a space in your home for it. Create a space. Now, you can create just a corner. to say, you know what, when I want to have some quiet time, I'm going to show up at this corner. And once I am by this corner, I drop my phone, I drop every other thought, and just, focus on me. You can do that. It's just about being intentional and saying, you know what, I want to try my best. Do you know that it doesn't, if you don't even have so much space in your house, you don't have a corner, what you can do, for example, is to get a blanket or a shawl and say, you know what, once this shawl is over me, then I know that it is time to keep quiet and have some silence. So if you don't have such a big space, it's not a problem. You can just do what I've said. You'll be good. I assure you, you'll be fine. Just get a blanket and tell yourself, or a shawl, that once I throw this shawl over my face or over my body, it just means that I'm having the next 5 to 10 minutes quiet, so that my brain can shut down all the noise. Okay? All right, guys, if you're still with me, say hi in the comment section. Now, the next thing is that you make that quiet time a non-negotiable. That once you have decided to take the 5 minutes or the 10 minutes that you have already put in your schedule, that you make it a non-negotiable. You know how you take your bath as a non-negotiable? How you eat, how you brush your teeth, you clean your tongue, there are certain things that we take in our daily routine as non-negotiables. Make your quiet time and your time for silence non-negotiable. That no matter, because you have infused it into your daily routine, you will, learn to be quiet. You would learn to be quiet, and you must observe it, just the way you must take a bath within a day. You know how uncomfortable it can be when you don't take a bath in some hours, right? So make it a non-negotiable that I will have my quiet time, not because anyone is forcing me to, because I have decided to infuse it into my daily routine. I will shut down for just 5 minutes after maybe every 4 hours in the day, whatever, but just make sure that it's included in your daily routine. Now, you can decide to use some golden spaces and some golden times. For example, if you're driving alone in your car, you can decide to use that as a golden time for some quiet. So you must not play some music. You can turn off the radio, you can turn off the Bluetooth in your car, and just be quiet. Okay? You can